Well, looks like we're alive for another repair, and it's not even a MacBook repair. How's that? Bonus for everybody. Yay! No MacBook repairs. So frickin' boring MacBook repairs. Let's do something different. Except of course MacBook repairs do give me a good amount of money. Whereas PC repairs do not so much. In fact, most of the times PC repairs cost me money. Echo. That should be better. I wasn't echoing, I was just reinforcing what I was saying. Hey, you need a mirror? Alright then. Yes, in most cases, PC laptops cost me money to fix, just in terms of time or whenever I get spare parts. It never really works out. But this one's quite new, and I just realised I haven't got the power pack here, so I'll be right back with the power pack. To the micro. Turn it up, miniature. Alright, got the power pack. That's the other fun thing when you're dealing with PCs, is I've got to remember to bring the power packs. That suits it. Alright. Get through that into the floor. So apparently this has no power. They have tried different battery, different power brick. They know the power bricks work and all that sort of jazz, but to no avail. So we're just going to plug that in and see what comes up. So this doesn't look like a USB-C model at all. So usually if you plug this in, you should get a light. And we do not have a light of any sort, so if we're lucky, we might have an input stage failure. That should be sort of nice. Hey there, Paul. Yes, it has been a while. Unfortunately, as per mentioned prior, due to the nature of the work, the people sending me the jobs that they do send me lately, it's not really something that's ideal for me to do live streams on. There's too much of a risk of personal, just even minor details on the machines that I'm repairing may cause drama if revealed. That's fine. And of course, it always takes quite a bit longer to disassemble these things because you don't know exactly. Is that a security cover? I see Travis is, of course, lining up for his smack in the head. Wow, am I going looping through time, or did Steve B say hello twice? Okay, why do I get the feeling there's going to be screws under there? Because that's what they do. Okay. No, need a smaller screwdriver than that. Special areas require special screwdrivers. Let's see if I can find the right one. kidding me? I hate it how it's like when you're repairing cars or motorbikes, or in fact most things mechanically inclined. There's always going to be one screw somewhere that is stubborn, doesn't want to follow along, and makes you have to go find a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, it's just chewing the hell out of my drivers. Okay, so I've got a double O, I've got a 1. I need my 0 screwdriver. I'll check in the other room. Oh wait, no, I don't have to. I don't think. I'll check my roll. Let's see, 0. Phillips, it'll be this one, PH0. No. Yep, it's always got to be a problem. Well, while we're focusing on hating that, I'll just see if these need removing. Amaretto. Yep. Fucking HP. Yeah, Apple gets a lot of hate for... I actually caught that out of the air. Apple gets a lot of hate, mostly deserved. But you got to admit, the chassis design is at least accessible. I don't think so. India, I might have said something else like bunyip or something. Don't hear much about. You don't hear people talking about bunyips anymore. It's kind of sad. I thought it was always a really good bit of folklore. You hear about billabongs, but they don't talk about the bunyips in the billabongs. Alright, so I don't know if there's anything under here or not, but I'm guessing there could well be. I don't understand what that little nipple there is. You went Yowie searching. I usually don't have to go too far to find a Yowie. I usually step on some Lego, and that's a pretty big Yowie for me. What is a bunyip? Well, I might let Yinna Yamara tell you. Bunyips are, well, historically it's a pretty fearsome creature, but they have tried to sort of make it seem a lot friendlier than what it really was in some kids' tales. Of course, Google could always tell you. A UK plug doesn't hurt you in the same way as, say, an Australian plug or a piece of Lego does. A UK plug, if you step on that, if it's going to hurt you, what it does is it actually breaks your ankle clean off. It's great. The driver I need for this to get this out is somewhere between a 1 and a 2. Sorry, a 1 and a 0. Yeah, so this is the downside of the Philips design, is that and it is by design that it does this, and that is as you turn it beyond the torque of the yield, it will it will cam itself out of the hole, and it's meant to do that. It's by design, but of course it's a bit of a disadvantage when you trying to apply more torque than what's normally required to get it out. Alright, so that's gonna suck. We were always on the lookout for bunyips when I was up in Kakadu. We're always being told to watch out. Of course, in the areas we were, the bigger direct concern, of course, were the good old crocodiles. The trouble with side cutters is these are very broad screw heads, so side cutters, you just can't get them open enough. Yeah, I might have to actually use the Dremel and cut myself a slot. Just looking for the little thingy jigs that I need for this. I bought them a few months ago, and there they are. I don't know about that, Yindi. A couple of times when we were in the where were we? We were up at geez, I can't remember. Humpty Doo. We're at Humpty Doo, and we're hanging around the East Alligator River. Some people reckon they had sharks in there during the wet season. I don't know. I think they're probably telling lies, probably to keep themselves entertained while the rest of us were all stranded out there at Jabiru most of the season, because of the roads basically cutting us off. It was a good time during those years. This was like the early 1980s. Back before they put all the tourist stop ropes and things like that for Obiri Rock. Back when you could actually be an idiot and walk up and touch the paintings if you're an absolute moron. It used to drive us insane because we would see random tourists coming in and their kids would just run up to the paintings, and you'd try to tell them, you'd say, don't touch the paintings, you know, they're thousands of years old, don't touch the paintings. And they're like, really? We drove all this way. Yeah, it was very annoying. By the way, you know, we never got to go into Arnhem Land. We would go all the way up to the crossing before you drive into Arnhem Land, and we'd do fishing on the one side of the crossing, and then every now and then we'd all have to get off the road to let people drive through who were heading into Arnhem Land. But we didn't actually get to go in. We never got the invites or the anything like that. Not that we were like pushing to do that or anything, but it was just, I guess it was one thing we never got around to doing while we were there. I need a different flat driver. Posi drive? I don't know. It might have been, but no, actually, it wasn't. They're not Posi drives from what I know. I remember them all. These flat drives, they're just normal Philips. They're just annoyingly useless. Chew out too easy because they get over torqued. There we go. Yep. That was a lot of drama. Just this is what I mean by I lose money. Lose money on PC laptops because this is the sort of crap that you end up having to do all the time. I suppose in fairness, I do a fair bit of crap management with MacBooks, but you just sort of, you get used to it. Right, we still haven't even got the bottom off. It certainly is a flathead now. Keyboard does not look detachable. Now the question is whether this is going to be a... Geez, there's a plug there and I don't know whether it... No. Well, I guess we'll just split the chassis and see what happens. Hey, Pro Engineer. Okay, well at least the chassis splitting is going pretty straightforward, so I'm going to switch over to the plastic spudger. And at least that way I won't chafe it up too much. Okay, it looks like it's this is a keyboard top deck removal first, as opposed to removing the bottom. Yeah, the main board is actually in the bathtub. There we go. Just remove all their blind cables. Bloody hell, they've got a... Yeah. Yep. PCs, I'm sorry, but PCs suck in most cases for disassembly process. Now look at this. Look at those... And look at the quality... Look at how they've... That's some quality folding going on there. I mean, look at that. They just shoved that in there and hoped it would... You know, what is it even for? I don't even know what that's for. Maybe it's keyboard backlight. But look at that. That's just crinkle fed into there. I gotta have a look at that under the microscope. It's so bad. The microscope probably won't even let you look at it. What did this thing deserve that for? But you know, this is basically why, even though you might get, or you will get, a greater CPU performance or greater memory capacity or greater storage capacity per dollar with a PC, you're also going to get a greater don't give a fuck value from a PC. Not to say that Apple's great, but they at least do tend to pride themselves in having snobby machines. Yep, that was factory flex, factory folded flex. They probably just sort of went connect, smush, and let the flex sort it out. The DGAF index. Yep, really high on the DGAF index. That's a good index. I mean, I'll never deny that Apple are snobs, and I'll never deny that it's costly for what technically you get, and I'll never deny that they have a walled garden and that they're difficult, pain in the ass people to deal with, but I will stand by the fact that I believe their quality is generally superior overall compared to a PC. From everything from the board design to the boards itself to the parts they use. I mean, yeah, they have their F-ups, definitely. Bad GPUs, terrible cooling, bad keyboards. Oh my god, the keyboards are just, they should have just stuck with the solid, well-proven keyboard design. But, that's what happens. Probably some new engineer fresh out of university came along and said, we need to fix this. We need to make sure that the keyboards are thinner and better. Okay, there is something pinning it down right there. Yeah, the 50 volt to the CPU thing, it's a tricky sort of scenario because if you're going to design a machine to cope with, these are RAM things, cope with elements and all that, fine. Yeah, by all means you should, there we go, we're latched out. Yes, Apple could have, should have, take your choice, put maybe some better guarding on a lot of their lines. But in fairness, I would say you probably don't find that on PCs anyway either. It's just that Apple gets a lot more exposure to those sort of failures. And because they don't have a billion different models, it becomes very apparent very quickly when they've screwed up. Interestingly enough, on the logic board itself, they do have sufficient spacing on those pins. It's not actually the logic board where the problem is, it's the T-Con board, the one on the display. That's where the real problem is. Harvey Norman is to blame. Yeah, well, I'll definitely agree with you on that one. We've got a Harvey Norman in this town now too. Okay, we've got an ant that's now preserved for all eternity. Like I said, I'm not a Apple fanboy or anything like that. I love my Linux, I love my PCs, but I also am extremely grateful for my iPhone and my Macs for times when I just, like at night time when I start watching, say, Justified for the 50th time, I like to be able to just flip open the lid and everything just works every time. Whereas previously I had PC laptops and I'd be like, oh, no, that's not going to work tonight. Even my new gaming machine, it has random little well, we're not going to work like this today, so F you, we're out of here. And I have to reboot it a few times. And that's a fresh, clean Windows 10 install with latest hardware, all that sort of stuff. And it still manages to screw up. Okay, so we're looking for, I'm kind of thinking we're looking for a short of some sort. I'm looking for something exploded. Yeah, that's right, Steve. If they've got an issue, then you kind of up the creek for a while until they come out with a fix, as in a new model. I wonder if this is just a bad DC jack. That'd be funny if it is. Maybe they broke the pin on it. Damn it. Hay fever's getting to me again. You'll have to excuse me while I sneeze. Oh, crap. Andrew, I pity you. Those Clevos. I've had a few run-ins with the Clevos. It is unfortunately now at the point where if I get a Clevo or Metabox or anything that's basically Clevo based, I just send it back. It's like, no, sorry, I don't know how to fix this thing. Jim Allen, don't whistle the Kookaburra tune or else you're going to get hit with a copyright strike. Or I will be. Yeah, Miles, I've had a couple of run-ins with Metabox. They tried hard to sort things out for me, and we did have some success initially. But when I saw them using 28 gauge single strain wire, just one each, on their power connector for the high powered gaming laptop for the DC in jack, I was like, you know what? These are nothing but a piece of junk. This is literal junk. And like they even had a pin through electrolytic capacitor just surface soldered onto the board. It was like, what is this, some kind of joke? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with those caps, but that just was extremely dodgy for. Okay, let's get some voltage measurements going. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Not a nix. Alright. Let's look for a short circuit. La 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 la. No short. No short. Wait, what the hell? Where's my ground? Oh, right, you were ground. Okay, there's ground. Whoops. That's bad. Naughty of me doing that. Personally, I preferred Marmite back when it was thicker, more like Vegemite. But yeah, I think I've sort of wavered away on my taste for Marmite these days. I don't know why, but I have. It doesn't quite sit with me how I like anymore. Which is a shame because I used to have it quite a lot when I was in South Africa. Yeah, I really don't know what I'm looking for here at the moment. Like I said, I was kind of expecting, based on the behavior, the fact that it takes out the power brick. Looking for a hard short, but I'm not seeing anything yet indicative of that. No, I'm just going all over the board because sometimes it can just be one shorted cap in a random place that's given all the grief. Might not be that at all, of course. Hey there, Kodak. Might have to remove the heatsink, although it doesn't look like they're covering up much on this one. No, that's just a flux spot. I'm now trying to ascertain the various stages that they've got here. Oop, we're pinging in the... very good. Just someone letting me know that it was them that I was dealing with today. Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking for, the first set of MOSFETs, but of course this board design is a little bit different. They don't have the typical pairing, though this here is starting to look a bit suspiciously like what I'm looking for. But as you can see, it's rather asymmetric. Whereas normally what you usually see on the input stage is, the inrush protection and stuff like that. You see this sort of thing where you got the pairing, but these are the converters for the CPU. So this is clearly a more recent board. Let's just start probing random stuff and hope. Hey there, Jim Hook. How's it going with your birdies? No, that's ground. At least I think it is. Yeah. What is going on? Are my tips all dirty? Just sharpening up my tips. Okay, 0.7 versus 0.1. Alright, so something here is astray. So we've got 0.7 here, and that is a little bit, even for a CPU rail, that's going to be low. MOSFET seems to be okay. Shite. Okay. Jim Allen, I really don't know. I didn't bother to look to see how much this laptop was worth. It's got to be at least second or third tier of range, because it doesn't have the everything mounted under the keyboard situation. Let's see if I can find a board viewer schematic for this thing. But yeah, the fact that I've got very low resistance, 0.3 and 0.7, is kind of suspicious. I'd be surprised if it was a cooked electrolytic. It doesn't really look like it, and it's a metal can one, so they usually do okay. The other possibility is maybe this battery is influencing that resistor reading, but I doubt it. It shouldn't really have anything at all to do with that section. Right, so all I've got is day 11, which is not really going to help me here. I need a little bit more information from underneath that sticker. how you make it that we can see the measurement. I'm not sure what you mean. Are you asking me to show it, or because it should already be showing up, isn't it? It should be showing up. Yep, showing up. Yeah. I was going to say, is my software not working again? Come on, reveal your name. So what is this? Day 11 amoeba. No, it's not amoeba, but day 11 AMB6EO. Who's here? Ah, g'day, Jason. By the way, Jason, with those fluxes, one is the nice smelling one, the one that's slightly more pale and opaque, and the other one is not. They're both actually perfectly fine fluxes, but the not so nice smelling one is perhaps a little bit better with lead free, as far as I understand. Zombie, I've written my own software that interfaces with my multimeter and all the other stuff that I have. The multimeter, the power supply, and also my USB-C current meter. I'm going to go on a quick Google with bad caps. Let's see, what am I after? Day 11, AMB6EO, AMB6EO board view schematic. You know, Jason, I have not received that. Can you check the tracking on that? Because I definitely have not received that. Okay, looks like I found it. Oh, bloody hell, a RAR file. Why do you people do this to me? This particular multimeter is a GW Instech GDM 8341. Right. Sorry, folks, please stand by while I proceed to make a mess of things. HP. And let's see, what can we call this? What is this? NV15. Of course, there's going to be a billion NV15s, but such is life. Schematics, board view. This probably isn't going to work. It's probably going to be in a Allegro file format, but not much I can do about that. I am shocked. Shocked. And the nice thing is the schematic also came up. I'm shocked. Genuinely shocked. Okay, I'm going to have to do something about these sort of things that come up, but I need to be able to make it that I can amend board views so that you can do stuff like don't show this or make it a transparent part and then save that. There's some stuff that's a little weird. Alright. But I'm surprised, yeah, there actually is a board view for it. And we're looking for that. Let's first find that cap. Unfortunately, there's no outline, so it's a little bit disorientated. Okay, we've got the RAM slots. Let's go to quad display. Okay, so the RAM slots, battery connector, and way down here is what we're after. Okay, PC 41148, search. that is on... Okay, so that feeds... Oh, it's output. It's a VGA core. Well, maybe it is meant to be that low in that case. It looks like they're doing 30, 50, 80 amps. So, yeah, if it is 80 amps, okay, yeah, points... Oh, no, that's something else. I'm going to say that is not faulty. Yeah, I'm going to say that's not faulty. I'm going to presume that it is meant to be that low. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually trace back to the connector, which is this, CN20. Okay, so that's our jack. And we'll work our way on from here. Hey there, Maxing Gaming. Thank you for the 100... I'm not sure what that is. What currency is that, Maxing? But thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciate to do that. Hopefully we'll actually have a win here. So this is the other problem when you're dealing with PCs, is that every time you get a new one, you basically have to relearn all again, familiarize yourself with what they're doing, you know, because every now and then they will have quirky things like, what are they doing here? Why have they done this method? Rather than perhaps, say, the more traditional dual P-channel MOSFET situation. So what have they got here? That's not even a MOSFET. That's a IGBT. At least I think it is. Indian rupees. I thought it might have been that, but thank you, Travis. Much appreciated. And let's see, we've got self-biased resistors, transistors here. Who even uses this stuff these days? Thank you, Zombie. Alright, so let's work our way through this board. I'm going to switch over to the board view, so as in the literal board, so you can get a better view. Above, because unfortunately when I'm in quad display, you don't get a lot of visual details. Many people get to see Aaron Wolf interview with Lewis Rossman this morning about, well, what was that, 12 hours ago? I had to cringe and hide in some points. And I started mentioning unscrupulous douchebags. I was like, you're not referring to me. Okay, BC and connector. Interesting, it's got LEDs sections there. What's the chances actually one of these that's faulty? I mean, not even getting any power coming through this. Let me try something. Sometimes it helps to be 100% sure that you are in fact getting the power you expect. So I always thought these things would self-excite. Hey, one way. Alright, well, that confirms that. We've got 19 volts coming through the connector. Okay, so that at least proves that it shouldn't be this at fault. Okay, first step is PL6. And already it looks like the... Yep. Oh god, I love this. PL6, they're just supposed to be input filters. They're supposed to be there. They are not there. They've just simply flood filled the circuit board. So no PL6s. Tracking says tomorrow, Jason. Okay, thank you, Jason. Let's hope it is the case. Hey there, GameJoy. Okay, so PQ33, which is this device here. I don't know whether they just drew it funny. This is the other problem, is when you get schematics, sometimes it's just the rendering of the drawing that's weird. Like on first sight, I would have said that was a P-channel MOSFET. Some people, it can be a little difficult sometimes to remember what's P-channel versus N-channel. The way I disgustingly remember it, actually I think it's just the way they're drawing it. See, they have it that the gate is central, whereas most people tend to, let's bring up something like a 1041, which I was working on earlier today. And let's go. Yeah, come to think of it, are they going to show me any MOSFETs in this at all? Okay, yeah. So this is a more, what I would consider a classic. This is an N channel. They're also both N channels, where the gate is like an offset drawing, and then you have the internals here. This is your body diode, which just happens by the nature of building, the way they build MOSFETs. This is always an implied thing. And that there is just a protection shockety. Okay, so they're all N channels because the arrow goes in towards the gate. And I don't actually remember N channel for being N channel. I actually remember P channel, as soon as I can find a P channel. Yeah, okay, there we go. I remember a P channel because the arrow points out, so it's like it's peeing out of the MOSFET. You got to find these little things to make it easy to remember which way things are. But yeah, you find your own way of remembering these things. You'll probably be just as silly or offensive. Oh, see, there you go, Christian. See, everybody has their little way of remembering things. Anyway, back to the above view. Okay, so we're up to here. Okay, I'll go schematics. I was a fool and reloaded this. It's quite tricky when you don't have a normal board outline anymore. And if you're wondering why some connectors get drawn strangely, it's because board view files, these BRD or BVR files, they do not actually have package outline information contained within them. So when you see these nice little chip outlines, they're actually heuristically generated. They're just guesses based on the, based on the pin patterning and stuff like that. And unfortunately, sometimes guesses are wrong, as is this case. Anyway, just thought I'd let you know why it seems like a little bit strange every now and then. Anyway, so we've got to get this PQ33. So this here is a P channel, and it's just drawn very strangely, that's all. For a while there, I thought it was an IGBT, but really IGBTs, what they are drawn like is they are like a PNP or MPN, but instead of the base being connected here, it's gapped. There's a gap there, like you have with the MOSFET. See, there's a gap there. And that's why you have the name IGBT, which stands for insulated gate, which means it has a gate with a gap, BJT, or binary junction transistor. Yeah, that's a dual PMP. What is it, NPN? Oh, frick's sake, NPN. Funnily enough, I get along with MOSFETs so much better than I do with BJTs. Bipolar, thank you. I knew I was wrong when I said binary. Bipolar, thank you for reminding me, Christian. Yes, bipolar. I'm going to get bipolar at this rate with this board. Anyway, it's amazing how your brain just forgets the important things at times. When do I have to measure under power and when without power? You always generally measure without power if you can initially, particularly if it's a data recovery situation. I get an unfortunate number of machines coming in where people have done things like voltage injection and essentially wrecked any chance of getting data back. As much as possible, try to do things. Okay, I'm lying, I'm just plugging stuff in here. But you see, we know in this particular case, we aren't dealing with a data recovery situation. We're just trying to see if we can get the board to work. So we've got 19 volts there. Okay, so it's not actually shunting it off. And we've got 19 volts there. So now we're going to have to look at what happens, what this is. This is PQ20. Even though there's a little bit of silk screening on this board, it is effectively useless. PQ20. It's funny, that there they've made really big and that little tiny. Very disproportionate to the representation in the physical realm. Okay, so PQ20, and then we get PC now. So pin 3, we want to see if we get voltage on pin 3. That there I'm not going to believe, because that says VAD, which is there, which is actually pin 4. This is the other problem with PCs versus, say, a lot of the Apple stuff, is that their pin numbering can often be wildly different. Okay, that there is at least correct. Bat dis. That's good. What has happened here is that they are actually meaning, say, on the board view, they've got 2 and 3. Really, that should be 3 and 4. Stephen W., you are quite correct, really, in this case. I'm only doing it because I know the person locally. It's a local job, and I thought I'd have a look. And I thought it'd be just something to, have a look at. Okay, so what we do in this case, we have a look at PC19, which is down here. And we've got power source, which is that there. So let's go back to the microscope view. And we do indeed have that little cap under there. Yeah, okay, well, Apple with their no critical thing, I think that's the main thing with that is the... Alright, so we do have a problem here. From here, we've got a short issue, which is understandable because when we... Well, yeah, touch that, Paul. Go on, touch that. Yeah, idiot. What's that dish showing? It keeps flicking in and out. That's steady. So our problem starts from this side somewhere. It's a different viewing, yeah. Okay. So we've either got a cap that's shorted somewhere, or it could be a MOSFET if it's going through the ground, like maybe that there. So let's have a look, and we know this here is for the GPU. At least we think it is. PC231. I wonder if that's blown through. What's this diode here for? Oh. Looks like it's a reverse bias diode. It is, yeah. Do you have a Discord group? I'm on the Rossmann repair group. Okay, so that diode that's next to it, that here there is just a protecting Zener. And if I had to put money on something, that would probably be what I'm going to look at as a fault. So I'm going to guess that has blown internally. It's a real chance guess, but it's going to be one of the easiest things to try first. I'm not going to bother injecting power into it. I'm just going to pop it up, lift up one of its legs and see how it goes. I like being on the Rossmann repair group because, you know, there's a lot of people there, you know, a lot of shared knowledge, and you know, whereas if I just did it on myself, sure, I might get 20 or 30 dedicated individuals that, you know, watch or come and talk to me, but that requires me to be interactive a lot, and I've got solder still bridging under there, so we'll just reflow that a little more. I could just take it off, but I prefer not to until... God damn it. That's making me regret my choice. Oh, thank you. There needs to be a button, an override button that the mods can use to change camera angles. God damn it. Okay, we're free. Do a continuity test now. Let's see if we've got a short to ground still. Yeah, we do. Pretty hard one too. And that's not short. Okay, so my first guess was wrong. The main reason why I thought I'd go for that first is because these sort of protection diodes, they do very frequently pop, doing what they're supposed to do, which is protect. Like if someone has a dodgy power supply, power brick or something like that, then yeah, that's their job. They will short to ground in a crowbar fashion, and it stops the rest of the circuit getting damaged. Pro engineer, that's probably actually not a bad idea. Alrighty, okay, so next possible, I'm going to see what this is. I'm kind of tempted to remove this here. That's a power resistor. I don't know whether it's got current sense under it or not. Let's actually, damn it, just check the board view, Paul. Okay, PR211. Yeah, that's a current sense. No. I'm just trying to isolate what area could be at fault here. It's getting a bit tricky because... Oh wait, what did I just do? PQ20, PD, 9. I just realised I'm an idiot, but don't mind me. Just need to check myself again. Well, realistically at this stage, given that it just all of a sudden bursts out into all this jazz over here, we're effectively at the point where we need to do the thermal camera trick. If we didn't have the thermal camera, we'd have to start doing stuff like removing various MOSFETs or power resistors, things like that, to try and isolate the area where the problem is. But what we're going to do is we are going to put a volt onto power source, and we're going to see where the Christmas tree lights up. We don't want to put more than a volt, just in case it is something around the CPU at fault, like one of the MOSFETs shorted around the CPU. You do get people who decide to drop a nice healthy 20 volts or 19 volts into the board, and it very quickly destroys things. And there's no need for it. At least as an upside, there's plenty of solid soldering area to work on here. Whereas the MacBook, it's usually a bit of a struggle to find a good spot to attach your voltage injection point to. Wrong way? No, that's how they're designed. They just have that middle leg clipped. It's actually a ground pin usually. Well, actually I shouldn't say it's a ground pin. It's basically, in almost all cases, it's electrically connected to this bottom plate here. Okie dokie. Yeah, let's hope the gym cam... Well, it's not the gym cam that misbehaves, it's the Mr. Daniels' software that misbehaves. Let's see. Interesting. The power supply is sitting at 1.5 volts already. We're also going to just limit it to 2 amps output. There's no point going straight in with 5 amps or anything like that. Because if you end up a situation where what is shorted is, say, it has a very fine trace, internal trace to it, then you will fry that internal trace. And that's essentially the principle of things like the short killers that you can buy. Is the whole idea is they pump so much power into it that they will burn the copper away or the whatever's conducting. But often what can happen is it can be an internal trace on the way to the short, and it just happens because it's so fine, it has effectively a higher resistance than the short itself. So what you do is you burn away that trace, probably causing damage internally that you can't even fix, rather than actually burning the true short. Because a true short, like the closer you are to zero, the less power that it's going to be able to dissipate. But anything leading up to it that has more resistance will be where the power gets dissipated. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let's get this thing up and running. I am working on creating my own infrared camera soon, but it's something that I got to do after I'm finished with a few other projects. Okay, schematics. Okay, so there's our board view. So let's switch it on and see if we get a jump on the crosshairs. Yeah, there's something right behind there heating up. Right there. Question is, what the hell's... There's nothing under there. That's a real problem. Let's try the other side of the board and see if it gives us a clearer picture. Ready, go. Oh yeah, there we go. We've got a shorted cap. Right there. Good. You want to see that again? Bam, straight away. Now, when we look at that cap, we're probably going to go, oh, see, it was easy to see that that one was broken. You just didn't look hard enough. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be this one here. Now, before I take it off, I want to have a look at the edge on. No, nothing distinctly visible there. Usually, no, okay. I will admit, this time around... Oh, wait, no, there it is. There it is. There's the real one. In the middle of the frame, you can see it's done a ripple down the length of it on the side. You can see that there. Maybe that actually was the one that I was meant to look at. It's right, that one there. Hey, Ben Wilson. Obviously it's short, that whole damn rail is short. Let's see if we can get this off without using hot air, because if we use hot air we're going to melt that fan. It is slightly discolored, but it's sort of, your brain tells you that more now that you know it is faulty. But under normal circumstances it doesn't really show up that much. Okay, we're going to use a 2-iron solution here. Now the poor little micro pencil, it does take a while to catch up. And I really cannot use any excessive force on that micro pencil, not unless I want to replace that $90 tip. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Oh, shit. There it goes. I don't know where it went. Got caught. You can't really go by the discoloration of the caps when it's that subtle, unfortunately. Because there are just normal variances within the caps. Like, you can have, depending on the capacity of the cap, they will change, you know, they'll have different colors. So when you're going across the whole board, unless you know in advance what the value of that cap is supposed to be, you're not going to know whether it's discolored because it's damaged or whether it's discolored because it's a different capacity. Anyway, I found that cap again, thank God. And sure enough, we have our resistance back up to normal. Let's have a look at where that cap was in terms of on the schematic. So let's see. I say colossal pain in the backside. Okay, it's up around here. Yeah, it's this one here, EC15. And that was... Okay, so this is where we were heading in. That was... Yeah, so we were up here, peaky 20. And so this is the shorter cap, and it's a 10 microfarad, 25 volt, 805 size. These underscore numbers here, like underscore 8, underscore 4, things like that, they denote the actual cap size. So in this case, that's an 0805. These are 0402. You should see, yeah, here we go, 0603. It's just their way of abbreviating things, which is a real pain in the backside. Okay, so 10 microfarad, 25 volt, 805. Put another one of those on there. Christian, you had to find a 201 resistor off a multicolored rug last week. What? How the hell did you get yourself into that situation? That's ludicrous. What's the bet I don't have any of those caps? If I'm going to have them... 805 is not really a size that I use very much at all. When I first started... Oh, shit on a stick. Way to go, Paul. Way to go. Tripped on something there. Oh, crikey. Right, we're all good. Oh, you've taken off an EMI shield and it got picked up with it. Yeah, okay, that definitely sucks. Yeah, when I first started doing surface mount work, I was doing it, just no glasses, no microscope, nothing like that. Then, yeah, I was using 805 sizes, but I very quickly moved to 603. But I gotta admit, these days, 603 feels monstrously large when I'm doing board designs. But I do try to stick with 603 for stuff that I do myself, simply because of the fact that it is easy to handle if you have to without glasses, or without a microscope. Okay, these are in fact all 603s. I could have sworn I had some 805 stuff. I'll just check another box. It may be just a case of I put the 805s away. Let's see. Because usually I went 1206 or 603. Very rarely went 805. Yeah, I can't see any 805s there. Yeah, that's it. That's a big fat not going to happen. I'm just going to use the part find facility. Search, find a part. $10 microfarad, 25 volt. Yeah, 402 is sort of getting to that point where it's a pain, yeah. 603, you can... looks like everything has got something like that. Why did I stop before I got to see if the 165 has it? Damn it. I want it to keep going until I can see if at least a 165 has it. The other thing is 603 you can do hand pick and place with. I found, with pick and place by hand I can do 603, 805, 1206 all with the same vacuum tool. But as soon as I went 402 I had to switch to a smaller vacuum tool, and it was actually very hard to get things to sit perpendicular. So 603 is where it is. Yay, 165. I could have just gone to the 165 and... And yep, 10 microfarad, 25 volts, 805, C7117. I know exactly where that is. I can see it with my bare eyes. It's that one there. It's big enough that I could actually take it off without using a microscope. It's actually very strange to be doing hot air rework without the microscope. Very strange. What's this comment I see here? In automotive, they often put 2 ceramic caps in series, so if one fails, it doesn't short, just increases the capacitance. Yes. Because you put capacitors in series, it's like putting resistors in parallel. Yeah, when you look at the formulas for calculating resistors in series and parallel, it's opposite to capacitors in series and parallel. But with capacitors, you're trading, if you swap voltage for capacitance, then it's like with resistors. Initially it seems a little weird, but when you sort of understand the way capacitors work, it makes sense. Yep, we are turning this HP into a Mac. We've taken the genetic code of an Apple and installed it into the $6 million HP. With it, we'll become greatly powerful. Now, someone just needs to cue $6 million man music. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Hey, Gavin Brown. We're just having a bit of a temporary reappearance. Let's clean up that flux because we're not going to ultrasonic this board. When you've got one part like this, there's not much point ultrasonicking the whole damn board, if you can help it. It is interesting with the supplier, with the person sending me all the jobs lately, they actually explicitly do not want the boards ultrasonic cleaned because they're all just for data recovery. And there's always a risk with ultrasonicking that you can change a recovered board into a dead board again when you ultrasonic it. Because the ultrasonic, can knock things around. There might be just that one wire holding itself together just enough so you can get the data off, and then you just throw the machine in the bin or whatever. That'll be good enough. Okay, let's see if this... Okay, so we don't have a short, thank goodness. Now the real test. Actually, I better take these wires off, lest I accidentally power up and those wires decide to make sweet love to each other and let the sparks fly. I don't have the fume extractor on. You don't realise how much you depend on that fume extractor until you don't have it on. And then you realise how much of an idiot you've been all your life when you're a kid, sitting there building electronics without a fume extractor. I gotta say, I find it distressingly laughable. I saw there was these new miniature fans that someone was selling. They're only like about, I don't imagine they're more than 40 millimeter square. And like they have a large pool of flux or something that they're burning, producing smoke, and they put this little fan, and sure enough, you know, it pulls it away. But the trouble is there's nothing behind it. It's just taking the smoke and pushing it over here, but then it just still comes around. It's still in the air you're breathing. It's pointless. It's sort of, it's kind of like having those anti-radiation stickers on the back of phones. It's pointless. It's nothing but a money scam. Give you the false sense that you're actually safer, which is actually more dangerous. Alright, let's see if this actually does anything. Yep, we've got a white light. I don't know if the fan's going to come on or anything. Oh, we've got no RAM in there anyway, so I think it's time to reassemble this thing, but it looks like it's fixed. This is more of a video like what I'd expect to see from Adam IT or my mate Vince. It's the sort of thing they would end up most likely doing. Instead, it'd end up my turn. Have you tried the NVIDIA audio processing to kill the fan noise? No, I haven't, I'm sorry. It's mostly because, maybe I'm a jerk for this, but I figure it's tolerable, the noise level. And realistically, come on, I'm running Linux. I don't have any reasonable noise cancellation, fan sound elimination stuff, plugins. It's Linux, for God's sake. That sort of stuff doesn't exist. Let's see. I think I got my hole in backwards. Yeah, I see that Vince is doing the Rolls Royces. I sent him an email about that. I thought it was pretty cool. Definitely a very fun new project. What the hell is going on here? I feel like I'm a complete imbecile. Oh wait, I am, yeah. Imposter syndrome, kicking in hard. Ah. What? What kind of shonky... That is shonky. Jeez, that'd make the Dodgy Brothers cry. Yep. Crying Dodgy Brothers. That's a sight to see. Dodgy Brothers was a comic skit act from an Australian TV show called Fast Forward, I think it was. Why do I forget shit like that? Let's see if we can slip it in without it noticing. Yep. We don't need RTC. Just reset it every time you boot. Wait. I haven't even put the RAM back in. What is wrong with you people? Actually, was there RAM in there? Because it's you. Was there a RAM stick in there? I didn't think there was a RAM stick in there, was there? I'm sure there was, surely. Crap. The RAM is in, alright. Thanks, folks. This is the other fun thing. When you're not working with your normal stuff, you don't... When you're YouTubing, you're only running on half a brain at best. And so stuff like that does very often get missed. Certainly I find that's is one of the hardest parts of YouTubing, is accepting that when you YouTube, you are going to become extra stupid. At least especially at the start. At least until you develop that part of your brain that allows you to concurrently talk. And what was down there that has a screw in it already? I do not recall screwing anything there, and yet I can see a screw head under there. Was this a manufacturing fuck up? Well, Miles, they would be right, at least for a short term. It's that plate. What plate? Because I did this plate, but I didn't remove anything from over here. Yes, indeed. One way to find out. Undo everything I just did. As I said, this is a fine way of losing money. Yeah, okay. I definitely haven't undone that one, but that's kind of weird. It is holding the speaker, which was to be expected. But it's strange that they've actually got a hole here for it, and they've got the arrow marking on it indicating that is, you are supposed to put a screw in there, as opposed to say like these holes where there's no little white arrow, because they are actually part of instead the screws that come through from the underside of the chassis up and hold the keyboard down. And it's even got a number. It's even like got 17 written on it, indicating, I don't know what. And likewise over here. Yeah, so it's almost like, I don't know, maybe they decided, no, you know what, it's easy to put the speakers in first, which I would concur is. But, yeah, so, oh well. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's been in this laptop. It kind of felt like it was factory. And just then, when I unscrewed it, the torque level felt factory. What I'll do is I'll just try to screw it in. See if there's even... Yes, sweetie. Thanks. Oh, thank you. I'll deal with Milo and Luna. Manufacturing anomaly. Yeah, that's pretty much the explanation for everything. A small number of devices were affected. Meanwhile, 500,000 people died. Kind of like the manufacturing anomaly that resulted in that very messed up. Okay, here's the even weirder thing. They've got another arrow here, but it's actually a stud. Yeah, no, that definitely does not belong in there. So this is a case of they had one thing planned, but it didn't go that way. I need to get this thing back together, and I need to deal with my fur kids, get them settled for the night. They're all a little bit disrupted at the moment because we are having part of the house tiled at the moment, and as a consequence they do not get to get a reasonable portion of the house that they normally would. And of course cats, animals, petulant little children, they're all the same. They kind of chuck a bit of a fuss, and so you have to try and placate them by letting them stay out a little longer outside. Little crapheads. Anyway, they're still out, and it's past midnight, so I need to go out and get them as soon as I can. Should have been a taller screw, but the other problem was, as I was talking that down, it was bending the board. So that speaker is not even actually sitting, it's not sitting flush. So if I actually talk that down, I would crack whatever is around there. So yeah, it's definitely not as per what is written on the circuit board. As per what you would normally expect when you're working on these machines. Because yeah, it's a pretty standard kind of pattern to use the little white arrow or some kind of arrow at a screw hole where you're meant to put it in. Teenagers are going crazy now over that. So yeah, that was just a bit of a quirk. How many more we got? We've got one more here. We've got to find out where that one was. Oh, they've got an arrow here and there's nothing under that, so we can't use that one. That one's not there. That one doesn't look like that one there almost I think should be, but it may actually be going through to the top deck. No, it's not going through the top deck because that there corresponds to that. So that is where the other screw goes. Of course, if I had to, I'd just review the video. But I don't have to in this instance. Usually best to give them a chill pill. My mates had issues when they moved house. They gave them a calming pill. It is required for a few of them, yes, and it can work. We don't really need to do it this because we've got a. This house is kind of like two houses with an interconnect hallway. A very short one at that, but yeah, it is basically like two houses, and they're effectively not getting access to the smaller portion of the house, which, funny enough, is where we lived for. Oh, for fuck's sake! Sorry, apologies. God damn you, YouTube, demonetizing me on saying words. I'm feeling a little bit cursy tonight. Before you close up, get rid of that spinning rust. I'm afraid I cannot because it is not mine to replace. I will consult with the customer and make the recommendation. So what I'll perhaps do is I'm just going to rig up the connections, including this crimped to death one. I love the fact that I actually don't even know which way up this is supposed to go now. Based on the fact that the reinforcement portion is on the top, I'm going to assume it's the top. Like that. I really loathe and detest this whole hanging cable design system. It's almost as bad as the way I do my network cabling in this house. I'm so bad I don't even have an actual panel. I just take a 50-meter length of Cat6, throw it through the ceiling space, dangle it through the roof into the other room where I needed to go. I've got one cable that I have properly terminated into a wall plug, and that's it. Yeah, I've got the full gear and everything. I've got the punch down kits and everything. But no, instead I just toss cables through the ceiling space and let them dangle free. Hey, if HP can do it, I can do it too. Alright, let's see how we go. Let's see, you're going to auto start? Or at least the light's staying on. Okay, power light's turned on even though you can't see it because they're over bright. Nothing on screen. Ah, there we go. Ta-da! We are live. Let's see, enter. That spinning rust is going to take 50 years to start up. But yeah. But we're working. So that's good. Just one little cap, that was the problem. And that's solved. But yeah, I'm going to actually suggest to the person maybe we shift them up to a solid state drive while we're at it. The downside is that the cost of doing the repair plus the cost of the solid state drive, they might go, no thanks. Yeah. Stephen, I only recently went to the effort of putting it through the ceiling space. I've got 3 cables up there. Prior to that, it was just hitched up like bad Christmas lights up along the cornices, much to my wife's dismay. Fortunately, she didn't nag me about it, because she's actually very good like that. She doesn't nag me about things, because she understands that I'm busy doing this kind of thing. I'm busy working to buy a house, to try and make our lives better. But yeah, every now and then I know that it'd be like, yeah, that is really ugly, seeing those cables. So anyway, after we had the solar installation done, I took the time to crawl up into the ceiling space and drag the cables through. Miles, you're quite right. Often it is indeed, and either a PCH dead or a EC is dead or something like that. But yeah, I was really happy to see this one was just a dead cat. My God, this thing's taken forever. Yeah. it's still booting Windows, so, well, that's spinning Rust for you. Anyway, so we're fixed, and I'm going to finish up there, and I'm going to deal with my fur kids, and then I'm going to kick back tonight after I've had a shower and some food, and watch another couple of episodes of Justified. Watch Timothy Olyphant send some hot lead into some well-deserving people. It's always good to relive those great episodes. I'm out of here. You take care. I'll see you next time. Catch you later.